And away from that, a sharply divided U.S. Senate failed to advance a bill that would suspend the debt limit and prevent a government shutdown. With Republicans' refusal to support the bill, the votes fell cleanly on party lines and was short of the 60 votes needed to pass the legislation. Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer voted no. This will allow him to call another vote in the future. Democrats who narrowly control both chambers of Congress now just have 3 days to find another way to keep the government from operating. Government funding is set to expire on September 30th. The stopgap bill the House has approved last week would have extended funding and kept the government open through December 3rd. In addition, the bill had included a debt limit suspension till December 16 next year. Now, Democrats will have to figure out how to raise the debt ceiling to avoid defaulting on its loans. Analysts have warned that the U.S. Treasury is likely to exhaust its borrowing limits sometime between October 15th to November 1st. As of now, Congress does not have yet a plan B on how they will keep the government running. With Republicans all against the bill, Senate leader Chuck Schumer said that the country now was staring down the barrel of two Republican-manufactured disasters.
I want to make sure everyone understands exactly what has happened here on the Senate floor. The Republican Party has now become the party of default, the party that says America doesn't pay its debts. Our country is staring down the barrel of two totally Republican-manufactured disasters, a government shutdown and a first-ever default on the national debt. The impacts of both would gravely harm every single American in this country. Republicans would let the country default for the first time in history. It's one of the most reckless, one of the most irresponsible votes I have seen taken place in the Senate. And it should send a signal to every family, small business, market watcher about who in this chamber is in favor of endangering the economic stability of our country and who isn't.
A government shutdown, or worse, a default, will be a huge hit to Biden's Democrats, who have positioned themselves as the party of responsible government after the turbulent years of the Trump presidency. Democrats do have the option of raising the debt limit on their own, something Republicans have said that they want. But Democrats have pointed out that much of the nation's new debt was incurred during Trump years, and that the vote should be a bipartisan shared responsibility. The stakes remain extremely high. If the U.S. defaults on its loans, interest rates would spike, the stock market would collapse, value of the U.S. dollar would plummet, spending on critical programs would freeze. There is even a greater risk. The dollar is the world's reserve currency, meaning other governments depend on it holding its worth. Defaulting would impact global financial markets and shake the world's confidence on U.S. currency. This is why America has never defaulted. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen called on Congress to raise the debt ceiling, warning that if U.S. defaults on its debt, it could have catastrophic consequences.
Being put in place.